Hello, boys and girls. Welcome back to another session of additional mathematics. I hope you have been learning a lot so far. Now, today, our focus will be on algebra and we will be factorizing polynomials. You should be able to factorize polynomial expressions of degree less than or equal to 4, leading to real linear factors. Let's take a quick recap and remind ourselves of what is meant by the term factoring. Factoring is finding what to multiply together to get an expression. It is like splitting an expression into a multiplication of simpler expressions. For instance, x plus 3 into x plus 1, these two expressions were split into multiplication, and they are all factors of a larger expression. Therefore, if we should expand these two expressions, we will get x squared plus 4x plus 3. Therefore, x plus 3 and x plus 1, they are both factors of x squared plus 4x plus 3. Let us consider another example. If we are asked to factorize x squared minus 16, what do we do? I know that this looks familiar to you because you would have been doing it for CSEC. Now, I want you to pause the video and quickly work on that one. Right away, you should realize that this expression can be factorized using the method of difference of two squares. But how do we write this as difference of two squares? Remember, we can write our 16 as 4 squared, and our x squared can be written as x all squared. Therefore, we will have this expression now written in the terms of difference of two squares. Once we have this, we are now going to factorize using the method of difference of two squares. And that will leave us with x minus 4 into x plus 4. Let us review. We say once we have x minus 16 or anything like it, we will first write it in terms of difference of two squares. Once we have written it as difference of two squares, we are now going to factorize as the difference of two squares. Let us take a look at another example. Factorize completely x to the fourth power minus 16. I know that you may be saying, wow, that is difficult. But guess what? It can be solved just as how we have solved the other example just now. Ask yourself, can this be written as a difference of two squares? If so, how? Awesome. So, from our knowledge of indices, we know that x squared times x squared will give us x to the fourth power. Therefore, we can write x to the fourth power as x squared all squared. And we know that 4 times 4 is 16. Therefore, our difference of two squares written is x squared all squared minus 4 all squared. Now that we have written our expression in terms of difference of two squares, we are now going to factorize as difference of two squares. Therefore, we now have x squared plus 4 and x squared minus 4. But if we take a deeper look, as we should, we will realize that x squared minus 4 is incomplete. Therefore, we can further apply our knowledge of difference of two squares to break it down simpler. So let's go again. X squared can be written as x all squared, and 4 can be written as 2 all squared. And we will get our difference of two squares written in that form. Now, once we have written them in this format, we are now going to factorize as difference of two squares. Therefore, our final result will be x squared plus 4, since we did not do any adjustment to that one, and we will have x minus 2 and x plus 2. That will be our final result for x to the 4th power minus 16. Remember, once you have anything like that, you want to write it as a difference of two squares. When you have done that, you may factorize. If you realize that there is another application of difference of two squares, you can now go ahead and apply it to get your final result of x squared plus 4 into x minus 2 and x plus 2 in this case. We are going to look at another example, but just before we do that together, I would like you to take a quick minute and try this one for yourself. That is x raised to the 4th power minus y raised to the 4th power. Again, pause the video and take that question. Assume you have done it. Let us now go through our solution. We have x raised to the 4th power minus y raised to the 4th power. Remember, you want to write it in terms of difference of two squares. Therefore, x to the 4th power can be written as x squared, and y to the 4th power can be written as y squared all squared. And what you have should resemble this. Once you have that, now we are going to factorize as difference of two squares. Awesome. We now have x squared plus y squared into x squared minus y squared. If you had left it there, you would have done it incompletely. Now, x squared minus y squared can further be factorized using the method of difference of two squares. So you go ahead, write it as difference of two squares, and then you are going to factorize as difference of two squares. And your final result should be x squared plus y squared into x plus y into x minus y. And once you have done that, you double check and ensure that you have gone through all the necessary steps and you did not overlook any procedure. And since there is nothing else to factorize, then you have completely factorized x raised to the 4th power minus y raised to the 4th power. Now, here is another example for you. 16x raised to the 4th power minus 1. How do you factorize this completely? Okay, so some persons have already paused the video. Very good. Let us now go through this solution. Can this be written as difference of two squares? Very good. So we know that 4 times 4 is 16, and x squared times x squared give you x raised to the 4th power. But what about the 1? So the 1 times 1 can be written as a power as well. Because remember, no matter how many times you multiply 1 by itself, it will always be 1. Therefore, your difference of two squares will resemble this. Now you have that. we realize that 4x squared minus 1 squared can be written as difference of two squares further. So have you done that? Well done if you have. Let us now go further with our factorization. 4x squared plus 1. Since we had 4x squared, we now going to have 2x all squared, which should give us back our 4x squared, minus 1 squared. And remember, as we said, 1 squared is 1. Does not matter how many times you multiply 1 by itself, it will give you back your 1. Now, after you have applied the difference of two squares concept to this portion of your question, what result did you get? So if you got 4x squared plus 1 into 2x plus 1 into 2x minus 1, then you would have been correct, because in this case you double check and you realize that you have factorized all possible expressions of your question, and you have completely factorized 16x to the fourth power minus 1, and your result is 4x squared plus 1 into 2x plus 1 into 2x minus 1. Now let us take a look at something else, something even more interesting. Now, our previous lesson you would have done dividing polynomial. So I now want you to pause the video and divide your 6x raised to the third power minus 11x squared minus minus x plus 6 divided by 2x minus 3. Since you have already learned that concept, I would like you to go ahead and find the quotient and the remainder of that part. When you are finished, you are then going to factorize 6x cubed minus 11x squared minus x plus 6, and all of that is equal to px. Let us now look at the solution, since you would have done it. And I know that you have been doing an awesome job, so let us continue. Very good. So now we have 6x cubed minus 11x squared minus x plus 6, and all of that is being divided by your divisor, which is 2x minus 3. Now, how do you divide one polynomial by another? Remember, just take it a step at a time. So you first say, what is 2x into 6x cubed? In your rough work section, you can have something like this. 6x cubed divided by 2x should give you 3x squared. You go ahead and you place it in the quotient position. After you have finished with that, you are now going to say what is your divisor multiplied by your quotient to see or to further simplify what you have. I'm sure you would have gotten that. Now you find the difference of 6x cubed minus 11x squared and 6x cubed minus 9x squared. And indeed, you would have gotten negative 2x squared. And this negative x that you see here, remember that it is just coming from your dividend. Right. So now we say, what is 2x into negative 2x squared? So you go ahead to your rough work section And we have seen here that 2x into negative 2x squared will indeed give you negative x. So you insert that at the correct location, and then you repeat the procedure that you have done just now. And when you have done that, you're now going to find the difference, and you will get negative 4x plus 6. Now you are going to check what is 2x into negative 4x. Correct. You would have gotten negative 2. Alright, now you find a difference, and so far you would have realized that your remainder is 0. Now let us answer our question that was asked. What is the quotient? The quotient is 3x squared minus x minus 2. What is the remainder? The remainder is 0. But what does this mean? And please, you would like to know this. When the remainder is 0, then the dividend is divisible by the divisor. That is, the dividend is exactly divided by the divisor. Let us take a look at another example after we have done our factorization. Now you were asked to factorize p of x equal 6x cubed minus 11x squared minus x plus 6. But how do you do something like this? Do you have any factors so far? What do you know? Do you have anything to work with? Yes, you do. Since your divisor divided exactly into your dividend, then your divisor is a factor. And since we would have found the quotient, we now know that we have 2 of our factors. So we would like to make note that the 2 factors are 2x minus 3 and 3x squared minus x minus 2. Now these two are 2 factors of 6x cubed minus 11x squared minus x plus 6. But are we finished there? Remember, once we can go further, then you should not leave it as a quadratic. So you realize that 3x squared minus x minus 2 is indeed a quadratic polynomial. Therefore, you would like to find some factors of that. And how do you do that? Yes, you can simply go ahead and factorize your quadratic polynomial. Remember, you would have gone through this from CSEC level, and this is a nice part for you to just simply run through. Okay, after you find those, you now factorize your quadratic, and you would have gotten as factors x minus 1 and 3x plus 2. So let us now see what we have. We now have 2x minus 3 into x minus 1 and 3x plus 2. We realize here that all of our factors are linear factors. And is there any other factorization that can be applied at this point? You always double check, and if you realize that there is no further factorization, then you have completely factorized your question. Let us take a look at another question, and again, you will quickly want to apply your knowledge of division of polynomial to part A, and then you do part B, and together we will do both A and B. So go ahead, pause the video, and we will resume. So you put your dividend, which is 3x squared, 3x cubed rather, plus 16x squared minus 13x minus 6. And what was our divisor? Our divisor was 3x plus 1. And remember, just take it one step at a time. Right? So 3x into 3x cubed give you x squared. And I'm sure you would have gotten that already. Hence, I did not worry to show you my working out. When you find the difference of 3x cubed plus x squared, you will get 15x squared minus 13x. After you have done that, you are now going to check what is 3x into 15x squared. And indeed, you would have gotten 5x. Alright, so now we are going to multiply your quotient 5x by your divisor, which is 3x plus 1 times 5x. And you should get negative 15x squared plus 5x. You find the difference of that and you will get negative 18x minus 6. When you have done that, remember you are now going to say 3x into negative 18x and you will get your quotient. So indeed you get negative 6. I'm sure you have gotten that already. So now we are going to multiply our quotient by our divisor and we find the difference of that and see what we get. Indeed, we got 0. What does that mean again? It means that your divisor had divided exactly into your dividend. So let us answer our question. Our quotient is x squared plus 5x minus 6 and the remainder is 0. Now I would like you to factorize this using the concept that we had used before. Okay, so you're correct. We already have two factors. We have the divisor and we have the quotient. So when you have written down those, you would have realized that your quotient is indeed a quadratic polynomial, and therefore you'd want to factorize your quadratic polynomial. So now go ahead, factorize your quadratic polynomial and tell me what your factors are. So your factors are x minus 1 and x plus 6. Once you have gotten these two factors, you are already on your way to finding to completely factorizing 3x cubed plus 16x squared minus 13x minus 6. Because you would have had the third factor already, which was 3x plus 1. Now all your factors are 3x plus 1, x minus 1, and x plus 6. These are all factors of 3x cubed, plus 16x squared minus 13x minus 6. When we look at all of these, we realize that they are all linear factors. You look and see, ask yourself, can this be factorized further? If there is no further factorization, then you would have completely factorized your question that you were asked earlier. Now, let us summarize what we have done so far. Remember, our aim was to factorize polynomial up to degree of 4, leaving your answers in real linear solutions. Right? So your factors should be in real linear. So let us now summarize what we have done. We are saying that when we factorize a quadratic polynomial, it is possible to get 2 linear factors. Again, when we factorize a cubic polynomial, it is possible to get 3 linear factors. And when we factorize a quartic polynomial, it is possible to get 4 linear factors. Now, your quartic polynomial will be discussed in the next lesson. But for today, I am sure that was a lot to take in. Therefore, I now advise you, go ahead, practice, apply what you have learned, and I'm sure we will do well when it comes on to examination. I know you have worked hard, therefore, I would like to say, great job. Until next time, stay safe.